Okay. Well, thank you for joining me today. We're going to start with 2 blocks in what I call butt cheek configuration. So 1 block for each butt cheek. You're going to set those down and then put yourself on top of that. Now, if when you sit on those blocks, it feels like you're slouching backwards or that your knees are flying up higher than your hips, you might consider you're covering your blocks up with a pillow to give yourself a little bit more height and then sit on top of that. So coming into your crisscross applesauce, comfortable seated position, you'll see that I'm kind of rocking from side to side, pulling the flesh away from the bones, kind of wiggling, getting to the front edge of those blocks. We're going to settle in. There is a mudra, a hand position, in which you bring the first finger and thumb together, making that A-OK sign. It is said to symbolize bringing the individual and the universal divine together, a circle, union. So if you give me the A-OK with both hands, you have the option of turning your palms up to help gather energy into your body, or turn your palms down to help drain away excess. So choose your own adventure. Either palms up for more energy, palms down to settle down. And then assume the position. Palms are shoulders shrug up, back and down. Let your eyes closed. Turn your attention inward. Find your breath. Let your breath come in and out through your nose. And as your breath comes in and out through your nose, let that breath scrape across the back or base of your throat. To find the back or base of your throat, you could work up some spit and swallow, or you can clear your throat. And then as that breath moves in and out through your nose, let it scrape your throat, cultivating a whispering, ocean-like sound. Let there be sound on the inhale, as well as sound on the exhale. This breathing technique is called Ujjayi Pranayama, the victorious yoga breath. By focusing your attention on your breath, you become victorious over your scattered thoughts and victorious over your fidgety body. So with your attention turned inward on your breath, let that breath create that whispering ocean-like sound as it scrapes through your throat. Settle in. Now this Ujjayi Pranayama slows down and constricts your breathing so that you breathe longer, slower breaths. Kind of that fake it till you make it idea. Begin to practice a breathing technique that simulates what you would be doing if you were completely relaxed. So by breathing as if you were relaxed, you become relaxed. And as you breathe in and out through your nose, observe the quality of your breath. Notice if that breath is coming in and out through both nostrils or just one side. Do know that it is absolutely normal to have your breath move in and out through just one side. Throughout the day, your body will shut down one side to help rehydrate and moisturize the tissues while you breathe through the other side, filtering out impurities, dust, whatever, drying out the tissues on one side. And then your body will switch. So throughout the day, it's absolutely normal to be breathing on one side of your face and then on the other. There's a breathing technique in yoga. So go ahead, open your eyes up and you can join me for this one. It's called alternate breathing, alternate nostril breathing. Forgive me, I've got a little bit of COVID. I'm a little bit lightheaded. So we're doing some stuff to help open up the lungs, clear congestion, make you feel better, make me feel better. And this is one of those breathing techniques just to help open up the sinuses. Now, in traditional Chinese medicine, there's an acupressure point right here between the eyebrows, right where the third eye is. We call that one the faucet. When you push into that spot, it's said to help open up sinus congestion, help drain things out, get the fluids to move. So you're going to take your index finger and you're going to push on that third eye. And as you push on that third eye, stimulate that third eye, I would like you to turn your attention inward. So I initially demonstrate have your eyes open. But once you get a sense of what we're supposed to be doing, feel free to close your eyes. Let that third eye open as your actual physical eyes close. So you'll be pressing on that third eye with your index finger. And then using your thumb on one side of your face to spread and open up one side of your face, the nostrils, as you press closed with the other three fingers. So spread with the thumb, press close with the fingertips, and then you'll be switching sides, closing with the thumb, spreading with the other three. So you'll be spreading one side, closing, spreading one side, closing. You can get fancier with the finger grip, and people do over time, but for this beginner's version, and especially because you're sick or I'm sick, the idea is to really open up the face with that spreading action at the same time. So find a fingertip on that third eye, spread with your thumb, close with the other three fingers, inhale and exhale. And then close with your thumb, spread with the three fingers, inhale and exhale. And switch, spreading and closing, inhale and exhale, switch, spread and close, inhale and exhale. So hopefully that makes sense. We're going to do a round of 4. That's 8 complete breaths. Inhale, exhale, switch. Inhale, exhale, switch. Inhale, exhale, switch. Inhale, exhale, switch. For a total of 4 breath cycles or 8 complete breaths. That makes sense? Go ahead, close your eyes and join me. Stimulate that third eye. Turn your attention inward. Spread and pinch closed as you inhale and exhale. Switch, spread and pinch closed, inhale and exhale. 3 more just like that. And as you do this, observe it is absolutely not natural and normal for one side to be clogged up completely, not wanting to breathe, and the other to be working much better. And we're just doing this morning to encourage a little bit more circulation, blood flow, exchange of energy, movement in those sinuses. When you've had 8 full breaths, 4 cycles through, you're going to release. Return to normal, easy breathing. Let your eyes open. Take a great big shoulder shrug. A great big yawn. We're going to shift back, rearrange my legs, recross the other way. Let's continue massaging some of those sinus points. And take your thumbs to the inside corners of the eyes. Push up on the eye socket and pinch down between the first finger and thumb, pinching those eyebrows. You're making a cave mound brow ridge. Ooh, and depending on how much sinus congestion you have going on, this can be exquisitely tender. As you breathe. And then moving along the eyebrow from the inside corner to the outside corner, pinching those eyebrows between first finger and thumb, feeling for sore spots, breathing into those sore spots as you find them. Wiggle your jaw, stretch your face. Take the heels of your hands or your fingertips. I've got a mic over here. I don't want to muffle my mic. So you can use the heels of your hands or your fingertips. Press in just below the jawbone as you yawn. Drag down. Let's do it again. Use the heels of your hands or your fingertips. Press in underneath the jawbone, the cheekbone. Draw down to your jawbone as you yawn. One more time for good measure. Press in at the cheekbone. Draw down to your jawbone as you yawn. And then with your jaw hanging open, pressing with your fingertips on that jawbone, hook your thumbs underneath. Just like you did for that caveman brow ridge, now you're doing along the jawline. So thumbs going underneath, fingertips pressing in above, and you're feeling for lymph nodes, sore spots. Again, promoting circulation. Get that junk to circulate. And you can use your fingertips to massage those jaw muscles. And then finding your earlobes, pinching down, pulling down, wiggling your jaw, yawning. Find the sides of your ears, pull back, wiggle your jaw, yawn. Find the tops of your ears, pull up, wiggle your jaw, yawn. Maybe even swallow. And then you put your fingers in your ears, you push your ear holes forward, wiggle your jaw, yawn, swallow. Pull down, wiggle your jaw, yawn. Swallow. And then pull back, wiggle your jaw, yawn, swallow. And then wipe the tears away, wipe the yuck off. You're gonna find your temples. Push in with your fingertips, massage those temples. And as you do this, continue those nice yawn-like breaths. Maybe wiggle your jaw around. So great big yawns. Working your fingertips into your hair. Get your scalp to move. You might find some sore, achy bits in there if you've been sick lately. Little bits of snot clogging up those sinuses and make your head sore. Then working around to the base of your skull. If you've ever palmed a basketball or picked up a cat by the scruff of its neck, you're going to use the palm of your hand to pick yourself up by the scruff of your own neck. Give the base of your skull, the back of your neck, a good squeeze, palming it nice and hard. And then do the other side. Give it a good hard squeeze, palming the base of your neck. And release. Palms forward. Shoulder shrug. Inhale up. Exhale back and down. Inhale, take both arms up, palms forward. Pull your shoulders, your elbows down onto your back. Big inhale, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, pull down, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Again, big inhale, reach for the sky, inhale up. Exhale, pull down. One more time, great big inhale all the way up. And as you exhale, pull your shoulder blades and elbows down. Keep your shoulders pulled down away from your ears. You're going to turn and look to your left, tucking your chin down into your armpit. Pull down on that left shoulder blade. This is your right shoulder blade. Pull down on your right shoulder blade. The more you pull that shoulder blade down your back and tuck your chin into the opposite armpit, the more stretch you'll feel on the side and back of your neck. Belly pulls in, you're sitting neutral, and you are breathing. And release. Palms forward, great big shoulder shrug, great big yawn. Exhale back and down. Let's do the other side. Big inhale, both arms come up. Exhale, pull your elbows down, shoulder blades away from your ears. Turn and look to your right, tucking your chin into your armpit, pulling that left shoulder blade down your back. Chin is tucked, feeling that stretch on the back and side of your neck. The more you tuck your chin, the more intense that stretch will be. The more you pull your shoulder blade down away from your ears, the more intense that will be. So you're in charge of how much neck stretch you receive. And release. Oh, that one's so good. Let's repeat. Palms forward, shoulder shrug. Inhale up. Exhale back and down. Inhale, both arms up and overhead. Once again, pulling both shoulder blades, elbows down away from your ears. And I keep seeing these hands go up. Renetta and Anne. Okay. We'll leave it alone. We're good then. Shoulders down away from your ears, turning to look to the left, tucking in that chin, pulling that right shoulder blade down your back. Second time around here, if you want even more intensity, take the free hand, the one that's not doing anything, up and over to the back base of your skull and help tuck that chin in even more. And release. Palms forward, great big shoulder shrug, great big yawn. Inhale up. Exhale back and down. Inhale, both arms up, pulling those shoulder blades and elbows down again. This time looking to the right, pulling that left shoulder blade down. Chin is tucking. And again, you have the option of taking that right hand up and over to the base of your skull, tucking your chin a little deeper for more stretch. And release. Palms forward, shoulder shrug, great big yawn. Inhale up. Exhale back and down. This time, inhale, both arms come up and overhead. I got all the chickens this morning. And as you exhale, you're going to twist to your right, taking that left arm diagonal across. And you can turn to look over that left shoulder, see what's going on here. And release. Inhale to center. And exhale, twist the other way. Twisting. And then twist with your torso, not your head. So turn to look towards the screen. And release. Inhale up to center. Once again, exhale, twist. Sitting tall, twisting a little bit more. Now looking forward, take that back arm, snake it through. Crawl it across. Get those arms to cross as tight as you can, and then flip that bottom arm up. Maybe wrap the top arm around it. Shoulders away from your ears, elbows pressing forward, leaning into that spot between your shoulder blades. If you need to release your legs, shuffle your legs out, you can do that as well. Leaning into that spot between your shoulder blades. Shoulders are down away from your ears. And a release. Big inhale, arms come up. And exhale, twist to that second side. So this would be your left arm, right arm coming across. Looking forward, take that back arm, snake it through, crawl it across, wrap it up, tangle it up, stretch it out. Yawn-like breath. Shoulders are down away from your ears. The sides and the back of your neck are still long. Feeling that lovely upper back stretch. And release. All right, I'm going to tip forward coming off my blocks. And I encourage you to do the same. Come off your blocks and let's go to hands and knees. You might put that pillow underneath your knees for some padding. Shoo your chickens away. Go away, chickens. Hands beneath your shoulders, knees beneath your hips, toes curled under. Let's inhale, come into that sway back cow. And exhale for cat. Inhale for cow. As you move back and forth through cat and cow, move slowly, exaggerate your breathing. Tucking your tail, tucking your chin for that cat pose. Inhaling, head up, tail up, really stick your booty out for that cow. And work it out. Moving back and forth through cat and cow. Find the midline of your body. Find your spine. Tucking your tail, tucking your chin, curling your spine one direction, and then letting your spine form a U, arching the other direction. Moving back and forth through your cat and cow. Waving that spine. Now in Chinese medicine, there are meridians, lines of energy that move parallel to that spine that are said to help control the distribution of fluids throughout your body. And if you are dealing with congestion or whatever else is going on in your life, some massage along those meridians might do you good. So we're going to do a pose that will help stimulate some of those acupressure points along the midline of your body. So to do that, let's come to neutral. Bring your big toes together, separate your knees apart. My knees are going to go fairly wide on this, so I'm going to ditch my pillow. Big toes together, knees apart. You're going to tuck the top of your head onto the floor between your knees. This one's hare or rabbit pose. You're going to roll along the line of your mohawk. You are in charge of how high you lift your hips and how much pressure you put on the top of your head. So tucking your chin into your chest, putting the top of your head on the floor between your knees. Use your hands, use your arms to control how much weight you put on the top of your head as you lift and lower your hips. The I don't want to do that option is a seated chin tuck. Maybe you put your fingers on the base of your skull if you're doing this seated variation for a little bit more neck stretch. If you are curling up into a ball, it's almost like you're preparing to do a forward somersault. Again, do whatever you need to do with your hands. Some people leave their arms out to their sides. Some people reach back towards their ankles. Other people reach through their legs to their feet. Go for that lovely stretch between the shoulder blades. Take deep breaths. Let your shoulders move away from your ears. Chin tucked in deep to your chest. And then release. All right. We're going to be making our way up into a forward fold, a supported forward fold, Uttanasana with blocks. So I've got two here. If you have more than two, wonderful. Get out all your toys. We're going to transition to a downward facing dog on our way to that forward fold. And I'm taking my blocks and I'm stacking them up. Thinking about that mohawk line, that third eye between your eyebrows and connecting it to the base of your skull, running all the way down to your tailbone and beyond. You're going to put the very top of your head on the blocks. So if you had a unicorn horn coming out of the top of the head, that's the point you want to have making contact with the blocks. So I'm setting up for my downward facing dog. I'm coming to hands and knees. I've got these blocks parked kind of between my thumbs here. And as I lift my hips up and I come into my downward facing dog, I have to give myself a customized version of down dog, so that the top of my head, that mohawk, can rest on the blocks. But I'm not compressing my neck. I'm able to talk to you. It means I'm able to breathe. And this does take a little bit of adjustment, a little bit of finesse, a little finagling, so that your head is supported and your neck can relax and your shoulders can melt away from your ears. This is not a headstand. You're not pile driving. You're just letting your head release onto the blocks so that your neck muscles can fully relax. And again, this is helping to stimulate, promote circulation, maybe get some of that congestion out of your head. This is a pose, a variation on down dog that is commonly done at elevation. You ever go to Estes Park, some of those yoga journal conferences in the Rocky Mountains? They'll spend the first couple of days doing these supported down dog variations just to help the sinuses and the circulation in your body get acclimated. And some of you might really enjoy this. Again, you're not supporting yourself by doing a headstand, but it does kind of make it a little easier on your arms to stay in this pose. Knees unlocked, heels lifted, perky backside. Just breathing. Shoulders melting away from your ears. Armpits wrapping around towards your chest, kind of like someone was tickling you from a blow. You want the outer rims of your armpits to wrap around towards your chest. You're even pulling in those front ribs a little bit, as if you were being tickled. If at any time you need to take a break, then please come on down to child's pose. But honestly, I feel like I could stay here for 20 minutes. This is really good for clearing out your head, clearing out your sinuses. And if you're not feeling it, take a moment to adjust your blocks. You might just be half an inch one way, an inch the other, before you find something really comfortable. In a proper Iyengar studio, you might do this in combination with a rope wall or a partner, a belt looped around the tops of your thighs, pulling back on your hips to help lengthen your spine a little bit more. And I know you're doing this at home, so think about bending your knees, sticking out your butt, and pushing your hips back, dragging your hip back a little bit more to lengthen your spine. Get your side body to elongate. Get your spine to stretch longer. Breathe a little bit deeper. Making a transition to Uttanasana. That's the wide leg, the forward fold. So stepping slowly towards the front edge of your mat, and then turning your blocks up. Again, I'm going sideways so you can see the profile view here. Turning your blocks up, stacking them as high as you must, so that once again, the very top of your head is on the blocks. The back of your neck can fully release. And you let your feet go as wide apart as the mat to whatever distance you need to, so that the very top of your head is on the blocks. Even nicer if you have an extra pair of blocks so that you put something underneath your hands so that your arms aren't hanging. Your hands can be supported. Your shoulders can shrug away from your ears a little bit. Continuing this idea of having a supported forward fold head on something without compressing your neck. And take the feet even wider. And as your head continues to hang, and as your feet go wider, you might have to turn your blocks down. And to find yourself in a wide-legged forward fold, Prostrate Padottanasana. Knees unlocked, heels kick out, toes turn in, shoulders shrugged away from your ears. Letting those sit bones blossom like a flower. If you're especially fidgety and you just need something else to do, You can take your hands behind your back. You can clasp your hands together. Press your knuckles up towards the sky. Squeezing those shoulder blades together, up away from your ears. Either variation is fine. Hands on the floor or hands clasped together. Either variation is fine. The idea here is to let your head hang. Your head hanging, yet supported at the same time. Those neck muscles can really relax. Knees unlocked, hands on your lap, head hangs. Pull your tummy in around your back, walk your hands up your lap as you slowly come all the way up to standing. Woo! Breathe. Toes turn out. Kappa squat. Horse stance. So toes turn out, knees pointing out to the side, toes pointing out to the side. Brace your hands any way you want. Fingers in, fingers out, beyond fists, it doesn't matter. Return and look over your right shoulder and twist. And breathe. Get that left shoulder blade to peel away from your spine. Inhale to center. And exhale, twist. I'm leaving you here long enough that you have to breathe. Let that right shoulder blade peel away from your spine. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist. So as you squat, as you twist, let your knees press wide. Let your hips drop a little bit lower. Maybe pick up your big toes. Pick up your pinky toes. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist. Both knees press wide. Both big toes pick up. Both pinky toes pick up. And inhale to center. Toes in, heels out. Pair of blocks beneath your hands, making a tabletop surface with your back. Toes in, heels out, tabletop surface with your back. Pull in your front ribs, pull in your belly. Take that left hand directly beneath your nose. So if you had a runny nose, it would be in the puddle. With an inhale, sweep your right arm up and open. Big rotation. Pull that tummy in a little bit more. Imagine high-fiving somebody with that top hand. So brace that top hand against an imaginary friend and get a little bit more lift, a little bit more rotation. So this top hand is moving forward. I'm not trying to wrap it around my back or anything. It's in sight of my bottom eye. Vertical, straight up and down. And release. Other side. Right hand replaces the left. Inhale, sweep that left arm up and open. Big twist. Pulling in your front ribs, pulling in your belly. I'm doing this with blocks underneath my hands. It's not about touching the floor. It's about getting up off the ground. Maximum rotation. And release. All right, heel toe wing, wiggling your feet a little close to one another. Transferring your hands onto your lap. Inhale, roll around all the way up to standing. Whew. From the front edge of your mat, I'm going to go sideways for this one. From the front edge of your mat, you've got that pair of matching yoga blocks. Take a giant step back, right foot. Let's turn this into a pyramid pose. Oh, wiggle that front foot a little bit wider. So you want to think opposite diagonal corners of the mat. So the left foot's at the front corner and the right foot's at the opposite back corner. Pulling both legs straight, pick up that back heel and pivot on the ball of the back foot, swinging that back heel wide, stretching the inner back heel straight back, squaring off, leveling your hips. Imagine putting a block across your backside. You want your back waistband parallel, flat to the sky. Hands on blocks, flat back for this one. Shooting that unicorn horn across the room to stab the opposite wall. So you are looking down at your big toe, the top of your head extending across the room. Nice straight spine. The more you can flip your tail up, the straighter you can take your legs, the more intense this hamstring stretch will be. Soften both knees, step forward, step back, cha-cha-cha, switch sides. So again, a nice pyramid pose. Hips are squared and level. Level, of course, backside flat to the ceiling. Squared means the distance from your front hip bones to the front edge of your mat is the same. So you might pick up that back heel, swing the back heel wide, rolling that back hip forward, pulling the front hip backward to square your hips. Once again, soften your knees, step forward. We're going to repeat this one. I'm going to do it with you. Take a giant step back with your right foot. We're all going the same way. Again, opposite diagonal corners of the mat. Pulling the left hip backward like there was a camera pointed up your backside. Preserve your modesty. Squeeze that left butt cheek up against that right inner thigh. Shrug your shoulders away from your ears. Elongate your spine. Take that back heel, swing it wide. Now you'll begin to rotate your torso. Got your right hand on a block. That block comes in close to your left foot. Inhale, sweep that left arm up and open, revolving, kind of combining the last two poses we did. Revolving triangle pose. Top hand in the air. Imagine high-fiving an imaginary friend. Pull it in your front ribs, pull in your belly. You might even turn to gaze upward at that top hand. Keep your knees unlocked for better balance. And unwind. Let's step forward, step back. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Giant step back, left foot. Go with that flat back, squeezing that right butt cheek up against that left inner thigh. Pick that back heel up, swing it a little bit wider so those inner thighs really kiss. Pulling your right thigh back into your pelvis, squaring your hips towards the front edge of your mat. Left hand on a block on the inside arch side of that front right foot, and then you rotate. So again, this is not about touching the floor. This is about getting up off the ground and rotating. And then gracefully release. We're going to pivot, walking both hands with those blocks between your legs, like you're going to hike a football between your legs. Legs are nice and wide. Once again, come down into that forward fold. Maybe putting elbows on the ground. Again, if you still have that head cold going on, you might be better off putting the top of your head on those blocks. So you choose your own adventure. Head cold, put your head on blocks. If you don't have a head cold, then maybe you can put your elbows on blocks. Stimulating those acupressure points along that central meridian to help clear out those sinuses if you got a head cold going on. Knees unlocked, heels wide. Sit bones perky. If your head cold progresses to a chest cold, then you're going to be searching for areas to breathe into. You want to continue opening up those lungs as much as possible. So to help open up those lungs a little bit more, keep your knees unlocked, keep your head hanging heavy. I'm going to transition with your head still hanging heavy. I'm coming off the blocks for a moment. Walk both hands over to one foot. Doesn't matter which, pick a foot. Walk both hands over to one foot. Let your elbows hang. So if you take both hands over to your right foot, really let that left elbow hang and breathe into that left side body. And then walk both hands over to the other side. Letting the right elbow hang. Coming back to neutral. Finding those blocks, if they got away from you, keep those blocks with you. Let your feet do whatever they need to do. I'm going to turn my feet out as I walk both hands, both blocks over to the right. Coming into like a side lunge squat. See what I got going on there. Blocks are there for balance. Breathing. Nice big groin stretch. All the warm pits in your body, your armpits, the sides of your neck, the groin, they all have lymph nodes. The lymph nodes are part of the lymphatic system. They help clear the stuff between the cells, the interstitial fluid, the stuff in between the cells. That's where all the cellular debris, all the pus, all the garbage collects. And that's why you might have joint aches, fatigue, aches and pains when you're sick. Stretching out the groin, armpits, the sides of your neck. These areas help promote drainage of that lymphatic fluid. Oh, so switch sides, big groin stretch. Settling in, using those blocks. If it's a little too intense, you can put those blocks underneath the sit bones. I guess I should have said that on the first side. You can modify this, take some of the intensity off the pose by sitting on those blocks. It's kind of like a half squat. Or use those blocks to help you settle into the pose any way that works for you. And let's go back to that first side. Again, maybe getting a little lower, closer to the ground the second time around. And again, you can modify. If it's a little too intense on your knees, you sit on those blocks. Maybe bring yourself a little bit upright. Get a different angle on it. Second time, second side. Again, do whatever you need to do with your feet. Make this tolerable. You come kappa, half squat, a semi squat, squat variation. So notice I'm setting my blocks up once again in that butt cheek configuration because I'm just going to go ahead and have a seat on them. Again, have a seat. Legs go out. Give those legs a good shake. Bending that right knee in, left leg goes out to the side. I'm sitting on those blocks. I'm going to sit towards the front edge of those blocks. Best I can, sit up nice and tall. Palms are forward for a shoulder shrug, up, back, and down. Left hand in your lap, right arm up, and come over. Great big side stretch, opening up those side lungs. Take a great big breath. Inhale up. And release. Other side. Right hand in your lap, left arm comes up and over. Great big side stretch. And inhale up. Let's go back to that first side. And of course, there's modifications. If you're not really feeling this one, you can modify it. You can hold on to your head. You got a heavy head. You can use either hand to hold on to your head. You want to get deeper into it, you take that bottom elbow to the inner thigh, turn your chest open, you can flip that top breast onto your back. Fingertips can go to the breastbone to help you turn your chest open a little bit more, getting into a deeper side stretch. And inhale up. Second side, second time. Up and over. Again, modifying, holding onto your head with one hand or the other. Taking it deeper if you're into that kind of thing. Elbow on the inside of your thigh, pushing that top breast onto your back. Getting a good chest rotation with that side stretch. And with an inhale, come all the way up. So finally, putting it together to really open up the lungs completely. Going to be doing a prone position. That means face down, lying on your belly with lots of blocks. So I'm going to set up pillow mountain here, and I'm going to start with my 2 blocks in what I call freight train choo-choo train configuration. Freight train choo-choo train, covering that up with a pillow, bolster, what have you. And then I'm going to drape myself over it. And I've got these additional pillows off to the sides. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with those in a minute. So I've got 2 additional pillows off to the sides. Freight train, choo-choo train, covered up with a bolster, big fat couch cushion. Find that hip hinge, right where the seatbelt's supposed to go, right where your hips hinge, right across the kind of the pubic bone, just below the bladder. That hip hinge is going to go on the edge of the bolsters. You want your thighs completely hanging off, but you want the lower belly supported. So coming onto that situation, yeah, pubic bone right on it. And then depending on the length of your blocks and your pillows, your head might be comfortably hanging off. My inchworm to get just right on there. I've got my pillows here to help support my elbows, and I'm going to make a little pillow out of the back of my hands, and I'm going to turn my head to one side. Ideally, take a minute to fidget here. Toes curl under. You take your legs wide. Some people call this like crocodile pose. Feet go wide, the toes turn in. Really helps spread your lower back. And then find that breath. Let your breath come into those back ribs. Now, depending on your situation, this is actually working out well for me. I can stack my fists, 1 potato, 2 potato, and put that third eye right on top of my fist. So depending on the stack of blocks and pillows, blankets, what have you, you might also be able to stimulate that third eye, that spot between your eyebrows, to help you turn your attention inward. Again, that spot between your eyebrows is really good for helping to open up your sinuses. I know in acupuncture school, we used to call that the faucet point. You push that point, it's like opening up the faucet to let all the stuff drain out of the sinuses. And so settling into this alternative Shavasana position, you're letting those back ribs breathe. Letting that lower back spread out. If lying on your belly is just not your thing, you can do a child's pose. We could flip over and do your traditional Shavasana. Now, if you've had your head turned to one side, go ahead, turn the other cheek. And you might consider releasing your arms down by your sides, palms turned up. Keeping your breath nice and deep, keeping your head heavy. Hands come beneath your shoulders, head hangs heavy as you press yourself back into that child's pose. And you might modify that child's pose by tucking that bolster between your thighs and resting on top of that pile of pillows.